This is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons. I know you can do it. I know you can prep for yourself and for your family. I believe in you. Crisis strikes, you need to reach down and check to see if you got the big boy or big girl underwear on, because you know what, you're going to have to be an adult and you're going to have to step up to the plate because you've got people depending on you.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is James Smith with the Covert Prepper Show. All information provided tonight is for entertainment purposes or for post-apocalyptic uses. This tonight is going to be kind of, you can use it before the collapse. You're really going to need it after the collapse. So don't use this to break the law. I'm a former U.S. Navy enlisted sailor and prison corrections officer for medium and minimum security inmates, and I was a covert disability insurance fraud investigator for several years, and I currently work for a company that provides support to the disabled. My chickens are doing well in the cold. I just want to let people know that. I got an email. It's like, well, it's supposed to be like really cold. How's it going? They're doing well. I did lose one a few weeks ago. She did the winter last year, and it wasn't as bad, but, well, when it's your time, it's your time. Now, this is where Sun Tzu and MacGyver meet the Waltons, and you will not believe what MacGyver would have you do in our discussion tonight. The Twitter name is @CovertPrepper. The blog is thecovertprepper.com, and I just did a blog post. And you can reach me at james@thecovertprepper.com, and my YouTube channel is The Covert Prepper. You can listen to the Prepper Podcast live feed by calling area code 786-837-2278. It's great if you have unlimited long distance on your phones or unlimited minutes. This way you can listen to it anytime, but we also do have the, if you go to our live feed, it's not a problem. You can listen to it on your phone. We also have a mobile app. If you want to find out more about it, email me, james@thecovertprepper.com, and I will more than happily point you in the right direction. So tonight's show is actually kind of a rather unusual one. You have to read a little bit between the lines, but I think you'll get the gist. This is how to remove stumps or other obstacles in a post-apocalyptic world. Now, think about this. I mean, when you're working in the yard, there's a lot of debris that have to be removed, or, you know, in particular stumps. But sometimes you run into obstacles in your life that, well, in the military we had a phrase is there's no problem that cannot be solved with a suitable amount of explosives. If you sit down and think about it, yeah, you're about right. In order to get from point A to point B in your car, there has to be an explosion within the chamber in order to drive the piston down and get the car moving. But let's be honest, in a post-apocalyptic world, the explosives will be limited, and in order to blow up the stump, you have to get federal papers, safety sheets. I mean, today, and you need experts, and it really makes the removal of a stupid stump just plain expensive. So what we need is a good, cheap alternative for C4, det cord, RDX, and other high-power explosives. Now that's where your home and your car come into play. Now I want to give you a caveat. Don't do any of these near people, gas tanks such as oxygen and propane, ammunition depots, army convoy routes, or any other. You may cause large amounts of damage or death. I mean, think about it. If this happens to go off near, let's say, army convoy, they're going to think they're under attack, and that could cause problems. It could stop them from their appointed route. If you did this near, say, an ammunition depot, or something along this line, it could cause a sympathetic explosion, and then you've got problems there. If you put this in the wrong place where there's some natural gas that could be naturally emanating, let's say for like example a sewer, you could cause massive amounts of damage that way. And we want to limit the amount of damage that we do in an accidental basis. It's easy enough to do things intentionally, but doing things accidentally is not a good idea. Don't do these. Don't do these at home. Don't do these if you value your life. Don't do these at all. This is just merely a thought exercise. So I'll repeat this later. Don't do these. These are going to be very, very dangerous. Now, we're going to start with a very simple one, and this is really legal. You can buy. It's called thermite. I made thermite when I was in high school in the classroom with the teacher's okie dokie. It's actually pretty cool. It's very easy to make. You only need aluminum powder and iron filings. Now, I've got some pictures here of what they look like. You click on them. You can purchase these on Amazon, believe it or not, and they're fairly decent price. You also need some kind of fuse, and what is recommended basically is a magnesium ribbon. It's fairly cheap for quite a bit of distance. You can also use your magnesium powder from your fire starter in order to make this. You can also use sparklers from the 4th of July. They work fine. Now, it will burn hot enough to go through an engine block. So if you put this in, say, a pop can, and then half and half blended, not one half aluminum, one half iron pilings. You have to shake them up. You have to mix them very well. And then you put your ribbon all the way through there, like the ribbon. And so if you, for example, if you're an idiot and you put this on your engine block to show off to somebody, it's going to go through the engine block. You cannot extinguish this with water. You have to use sand. It's a Class D fire. So pour sand on it. Now, if you put water on it, the heat is naturally hot enough where it will separate oxygen and hydrogen, and it will feed the fire, if you will. There is a great website that is called Pyroinfo, Pyronfo, and you can find them at pyronfo.com. Now, they are a pay-for site. They have lots of information. It's solid information. Now, the following methods I'm going to give you are just like high explosives. It's just like RDX. It's just like ANFO. It's just like even black powder, because they all go on the basis of two simple things: expanding gases and something failing. The container in which these gases are being contained in fail, and that's what causes the explosion to occur. Now, RDX and other explosives are very quick with the large amounts of gases being created. Now, the steel frame, like in a bomb, hold in the pressure until it fails, and that's where you get the big boom, because it's suddenly being released rapidly. And then, in some cases the gases are flammable, and you'll get a flame, which is a good thing. I'll tell you one that does. But you will almost always get shrapnel, so be very, very careful. Now, when you make these explosives, tuck them into the innermost part of the stump or whatever you're trying to get there. And if you can't, what you want to do is you want to block it with a rock or a brick. You're basically going to wedge that sucker in there. The concept is let's say you have a stump. Read that whatever you want to. And you put it in there, and you want the explosion to stay contained within the area. You don't want it being jetted out. You want that force to stay within the trunk, the stump area. So block it so that it can't escape. Depending on the size of your stump, you're going to need several of these. And it's okay to take, if you can't get 3 guys to put in the little makeshift bombs in order to remove that stump, all at the same time, you're going to have to do this one after another. Which is not a bad idea. The reason it's not a bad idea is because when you put that one in there and it goes off, you may be able to, all you need is one, and you can take pieces apart. And then you can use a bigger one if you need to and put that in there in order to do more damage. The general rules of thumb are this when it comes to a chemical reaction. The smaller the particle, the faster the reaction. The hotter the materials, the faster the reaction. So if you're going to use some kind of thing, let's say, just as an example, RDX, just as an example, the finer the powder, the faster the reaction. So if you use a coarse material, it will take longer, not necessarily build a faster pressure, or it won't build up pressure faster, but it may build up more pressure. So if you have like a very strong metal container and you put in tablets of what I'm going to tell you later, the reaction will take place. It will take place slower. More gases will be generated than if you use a weaker container and smaller particles. So just keep that in mind. Moving on, let's talk about the next one. Now the next one is going to be a very simple one. It's basically just a bleach and tin foil. Sometimes you can use something called the works, which is a toilet bowl cleaner. The general rule of thumb is bleach or ammonia. All right, anything strong acid, because what you're doing is you're going to put tin foil into strips. You're going to put it in a container and you're going to tighten the container's lid down, and then you're going to walk away from it. Hydrogen gas is produced, and when it gets to be so much that it causes the casing to fail is where you get the boom. One thing you can do too is if you have a very long strip of tin foil, you can put it inside the container. This is before you add your fluids, and then you use the lid to tighten the metal down so it has nowhere to go. And then you put your bleach in or whatever, and then you tip it upside down and then lodge it in there. Again, basically, or even if you put a candle in there right next to it, or some kind of match. So when it detonates, remember that's hydrogen gas, you're going to get a detonation, and it will explode and you'll get fire, and that will also help remove the stump. So anytime that you're creating any kind of hydrogen gas, you can use some kind of flame in order to get a better reaction. And if you're going to use bleach or ammonia, there will be an odor and it will linger. The next one is a brake fluid and bleach method. Now it's 50-50, equal portions. Now this is a dual purpose reaction. You can actually use the two materials to start a fire without matches. So if you have a little container of bleach in your car and you're stranded, you can start a fire with bleach and brake fluid. You don't need much. I should really find out how much you need. All right, I forgot to say this. Now, if you want to strengthen your container, because a lot of people use Coke bottles or whatever, wrap it in duct tape before you put in the ingredients. And then when you put your cap on, have a couple things of a big strip of duct tape that will be able to be put on top of the lid, so that part won't fail. And you'll get, like I said, a much stronger reaction, a lot more gas being generated, be able to generate before it explodes. Now, the brake and fluid and bleach method, please be aware that you're going to get a lot of smoke. And you can get a lot of smoke with a lot of these. The third is bleach, sugar, and water. The bleach, as in all examples, can be used. The pellet shock that you use for swimming pools, just crush them. The larger the particles, the slower reaction, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Use equal amounts of sugar and the bleach, and then fill the container with water. The third one is going to be the MRE bomb, because you can use the MRE heater and then put it in water. Now, magnesium is the key ingredient, so even ice milk can be used. Magnesium sulfate, what is that? I think it's mag sulfate. Let's see, what is Epsom salt? Epsom salt that might be you might be able to use Epsom salt. I'll have to double check that. But that will also do. What you're trying to do, in a nutshell, is you're trying to create a method to break something. In this case, you're trying to break the pulping of a stump. Real simple concept. You use enough of these frequently enough. They're fairly cheap, bleach and tinfoil as an example. They'll do their job. They'll do the job well. And when they detonate, when they explode, when they burst, is when you're going to get the damage. Now back to the caveat. Don't do these. Don't do these at home. Don't do these if you value your life. Don't do these at all. This is just merely a thought exercise. Don't do these. These are going to be very, very dangerous. I've included videos in all these so that you can see this, and you can also find it at prepperpodcast.com. This blog post. What I was trying to do is make it so that you could find the material, and there's videos, and you can't miss it. All right, I'm thinking next week we're going to have, this week's going to be short, but I'm going to be having Glenn on from Survival Still, and he's going to explain how he was able to create a still that you can use in a post-apocalyptic setting, burning wood and having clean water. And that's very important. We like clean water. All right, everybody. Like I said, this is going to be a short show, and I do apologize for it, but don't worry. You just got some high-quality information right there. Tell you what. So this is James Smith, the Covert Prepper, signing off, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from Southeast Oklahoma, USA, to parts unknown.
Hey Preppers, James Smith here. I've got a new advertiser to tell you about. It is ultimatepreppers.net. There's a couple brothers out of the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area that have this website. It's chock full of everything you need, and at a decent price. Let me tell you, they've got a Mayday fanny pack kit for less than $30, a Guide 10 Plus Adventure kit for solar power, 5-man tent for $89, tomahawks, GPS, go bags, so much more. Take a look at it. Freeze-dried food, supplies, you wouldn't believe it. Now, they also sell guns online, and they also have military surplus items. Now, new items are being added daily. If you order more than $100, items are shipped free. Now, they also do take PayPal, so take a look at it. It's ultimatepreppers.net. That's ultimatepreppers, that's plural, .net.
Are you sick and tired of having your First Amendment harassed or censored on Facebook? Use no more, as we now have a new alternative to Facebook. It's called Awareness Act. Awareness Act is a social network designed for patriots, to be used by patriots, and is ran by patriots. Stand up and help in the fight to protect your constitutional rights. Patriots can create pages, blogs, videos, documents, articles, and so much more. We even have a unique news feed system that allows you to share, read, or connect with any patriot on Awareness Act. We are a dedicated tool for patriots to use against the tyranny our Constitution is facing. So if you're tired of having your rights infringed upon, come check us out at www.awarenessact.com. Again, that is www.awarenessact.com, the social network for patriots, not potatoes.
Whether you take me for the fool, I know that I can be. Whether you see me eye to eye.
Don't get caught with your pantry down. Try the most delicious Just Add Water storable food from Go Foods. No GMOs, no preservatives, no trans fats, no hydrogenated oils, and a 25-year shelf life. Enjoy it today and save money. Share it with others and earn money. Store it for the future and invest your money. You can't find better food for less anywhere. Made in the USA and guaranteed 100%. Plus, try it for free and decide for yourself at www.lovegofoods.com. To try it for free, go to www.lovegofoods.com. That's www.lovegofoods.com.
The truth is out there. Knowledge is power. This is the Prepper Podcast Radio Network.